Hello everyone, welcome to ChessVisor, your wise choice to improve your chess. In today's video, I am going to show you an interesting and thrilling game played between Praggnanandhaa Babu from India and Vasif durarbayli from Azerbaijan. So before we begin this video, if you are watching this channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the future videos. So here, Pragg was handling the white pieces and he was under tremendous pressure in the ending. It's because that Raunak Sadwani, on the other hand, he lost the game, and other Nihal Sarin as well as the hero of chess Olympiad, Gugesh Jomaraju, has drawn the game. So that means he has to draw the game in order to hold the country for a draw, right? So here he was handling white pieces, so he opens the game with 1d4. For this, Vasif was replying the move knight f6, and the game continued with the c4 e6, and after knight f3 we have queen's Indian. So b6 g3, and this is called queen's Indian's fianchetto variation. So both people are fianchettoing. So bishop a6 attacking c4, or putting a question mark to the bishop. Okay, do you want to go to g2? That means how you are going to defend c4. So Pragg says it's no problem, I can simply play b3 and defend it. So bishop b4 check, that allows bishop b4 check, and we have bishop d2, bishop takes d2, and queen takes d2. So keeping the eye on the d4 pawn. And after this we have pawn c6 and bishop g2, d5 hitting the center. Excellent move by durarbayli. And we have castles on the king side by Pragg. And after knight b d7, normal developing move, we have rook c1, and after this he castled on the king side. And we have pawn a4, we have bishop b7 back to to a sensible diagonal now. So there is no point in putting the bishop here no more. So see, he simply retreats the bishop. So we have knight c3 developing, and the rooks are connected, the queen is already developed. So in terms of development, white is slightly better. And we have rook b8 defending the bishop, because that bishop was undefended. Loose piece drop up concept is there, no row, so he has to defend it. So knight e1, maybe rerouting to e1, maybe looking forward to jump into the center. We have pawn c5 striking in the center. It's excellent move again by durarbayli to open the center. We have c takes d5, and before reacting for the pawn captures, he inserts the move c takes d4. So now the knight is hit, so queen takes d4, knight c5, trying to fork the entire family. So we have rook a b1 defending, e takes d5, and we have knight f3. What's going on, if you look at this position carefully, it's the typical IQP, that is isolated queen's pawn situation. So that means black has space and white have to blockade the pawn and put pressure. So there are multiple ideas for this to white to do that. Maybe he will double or triple, or he may be even form the Alakine's gun on the d file. So the knight is already in a well position. I mean, knight f3 can be anytime, once the queen moves, it can be put it on the d4 square. So that's how we have to play against a IQP. So we have knight e6 hitting the queen, and queen comes back to the home. So knight e4, knight b5, there is no point in capturing the pawn, so he goes b5. So here he plays queen f6, we have rook c2, a5, e3, rook bc8, and now we have doubling on the c file, knight 6 c5, and after this he played knight f d4. So this is what we were expecting. And if you look at this position now, these knights are wonderfully placed. They are centralized, and they are a very good blockader. So white doesn't have anything at all in this position. So he plays the move g6 now, queen f3, trying to trade the queen, but durarbayli says I don't want to exchange the queen, so he simply drops the queen back to e7. We have bishop f1, knight g5 hitting the queen, queen comes back to home. So queen f6, queen g4, knight ge4, and queen f4. Again the trade, but no, queen e7. We have h4, bishop a6, h5, bishop takes b5, and we have a takes b5. And after that, rook ce8 by durarbayli. We have rook d1, queen d7, bishop g2, pawn f5. So why he plays on the king side now? So there is nothing black can do on the queen side and the center as well. So everything is closed in under control. So if there is anything he should create on the, or he create something like an imbalance, he should try on the king side. That's what he is pushing, and this queen is kind of misplaced. So that's what he is pointing out with the move pawn f5. So we have queen f3, g5. So he simply expands the pawn, but it's not good to expand, as you advance your pawn, it will be very difficult to defend them. So that's what the principle says. So we have rook b2, king h8, and we have pawn b4 hitting the knight and also liquidating the one of the weaknesses. So we have a takes b4, rook takes b4, knight c3, and we have rook d2. And if you look at this position carefully, we have a file is open already, c file is open, but the problem is the strong knight is sitting on c5, so we don't have anything to do at the c file. So Pragg is trying to coordinate his rooks along the a file to enter into the position. So meanwhile, black will also do something with the help of this advanced or centralized knight's position. So we have knight 3 e4 hitting the rook, and we have some kind of repetition over here. So rook d1, knight c3, rook d2, knight 5 e4, and he breaks the repetition because they reach the time control. So after this move, this is the first 41st move, that is rook c2, rook a8 grabbing the a file. We have rook b3 hitting the knight twice. So rook a1 check first, and after bishop blocking the check, we have knight a4. And after this, rook d3 by Pragg, we have rook e1, rook a3, knight a c5, rook c a2, and we have doubled on the a file. So far, there was no mistake or blunder or whatsoever. But the problem is, after this pawn f4 and another 3 to 4 moves, there was low time on both of their clocks, and that created a chaos on the board. And we have pawn f4 now, so hitting the white's king structure. But the problem is, white is slightly better here itself. And we have e takes e4, and instead of capturing with the pawn, because that allows, or that will open up the entire king's hunt. So here he plays the move e takes f4, and after this he plays g4 hitting the queen, and now the queen is in a prison. So how do we activate the queen? So that's what Pragg has to think. But as I was mentioning, so there was a huge time pressure for both the players. So here he plays the move knight e6. That's actually a blunder. Why it's a blunder? Let me show you that quick variation. It's because white can simply take that knight, and after queen takes e6, we have pawn h6. That means the queen is coming out of the prison, and we have so many problems going on the back rank as well as the 7th rank. So king will be under tremendous pressure. So while white king is very safe in this double as well as this cute pawn structure, it's actually a double pawn, but it's serving a very good defending purpose for the white king. So we have rook a8 here hitting the rook. We have knight takes d4, rook takes f8 check, and after king g7 we have rook f a8. And after this move, durarbayli plays knight f3 check first. This knight looks very dangerous, because look at these two knights, they are almost checkmating white king, but we have some breathing squares to go to. So he plays the move king g2, we have king h6, and here in this position Pragg played the move rook c2. If he played this move, the game would be different, because this is completely winning again. So queen e6, rook h8 targeting h7, and if you defend with the queen f5, we have another weakness. So the game would continue, and white will be better. So we have rook c2. By this time they were only playing with the increment like 30 seconds or so. So after rook c2, queen e7, the game is again equal, but you cannot assess this position with 10 seconds, 20 seconds on clock. So he plays the move rook c6 check, very logical move, inserting the check. Knight f6 blocking the check, and we have rook a3. And Pragg here kind of blunders, because it gives up a piece, but he thinks about this counter-attacking idea. Rook takes f6 check, but after king g7, the rook is under attack. We lost some time on this. So we have a rook takes b6, but and here he played the move pawn h6. Earlier I was mentioning we should have played pawn h6, so that our the queen who is there in the prison would come into the game. But the problem is he didn't play, so he played h6 himself. So rook g6 check comes, and after king h7, instead of king h7, he should have played a king f7. That's the right way to play the position. But king h7 blunders the game here. It's because after king h7 we have rook to g4, and again it helps to it helps the queen to come out of this prison again. So that is the problem. So earlier, like before this move, or if king f7, if g4 pawn is there, then this queen is not coming to the game very quickly, and it is almost like a queenless game for white. So that is why it's a blunder for black. So king h7, we have rook takes g4, and now the queen is ready to go into the game. So we have d4, rook g6, and in this position the better way to continue the game for black is to put the knight on d2 to attack the pinned piece one more time. But in the game he played the blunder, that is queen e7, and that allows Pragg to insert this nasty discovery. So why it's a nasty discovery, let's check this quick variation or the obvious one. Usually people will take the queen first and run into this all this trap. So rook e6 check, we have king g7, we have rook takes e7 check, and king f8, we can simply play the move rook a7, and b pawn is rolling, and as you can see the king is forked both the pieces. So that means white is completely winning the game. But in the game he played the other variation. He was trying to grab the piece which is giving the check. So he played queen a3, and that allowed Pragg to play the move rook e6 check, and after this we have rook takes e1, knight takes e1, queen takes e1, and this imbalance is completely winning for white here. Even after queen takes b5, we have queen e4 check. He's going to pick up one of these pawns, because if you are if you are going to dark squares, I'm going to pick up with a check, right? So he plays the move king g8, but now comes queen g6 check, and in this position where Vasif durarbayli extended his hand and resigns the game. It's because your king is again forced to go to any one of these dark squares, and I'm going to pick up this pawn with a check, and again with the follow-up checks I'm going to pick up this pawn because this pawn is undefended, right? So considering all of this, he resigns the game because Pragg would be 4 pawns up against a single queen and the king. So it's a reasonable position. So it was a thrilling game, and I was also watching Chess Base India live streaming. So it was so crazy. So somehow that rook g6 check idea and bishop d3 move he found and saved India team number 2. Thank you so much, Pragg, for doing that in this tremendous pressure. So keep playing well, and save the team in future too. So what do you think about this game? And let me know your ideas, thoughts, comment section in the what do you think about this game? Let me know your ideas, thoughts, suggestions in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and still if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel ChessVisor, please consider subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the future videos. As usual, this is ChessVisor, your wise choice to improve chess. What do you think about this game? Let me know your ideas, thoughts, suggestions in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and still if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel ChessVisor, please consider subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the future videos. As usual, this is ChessVisor, your wise choice to improve chess.